Imagine waking up every morning knowing that around the corner there is a bond that goes far beyond blood, a bond that has shaped the destiny of entire generations. Maria Elena Bergoglio, sister of one of the most influential spiritual leaders in the world, conveys to us a story of childhood, sacrifices, and a brotherly love that has overcome every barrier. Their life, studded with small daily miracles and gestures of great humanity, reminds us that behind every public figure there is an intimate and profoundly human story. Since she was a child, Maria Elena remembers the afternoons spent together in their humble home, where the smell of Regina's cooking mingled with the laughter of her brothers playing in the yard. These moments, despite their simplicity, were a living lesson in values that would forever mark Jorge's destiny. Within the home, every corner told a story: the old radio that played melodies from times gone by, the hand-carved wooden table where the family gathered to share meals and stories, and even the garden, where every flower seemed to bloom with a promise of hope and resilience. A particular memory that Maria Elena shares is about a winter evening, when the cold penetrated the houses, but the family warmth was stronger than any bad weather. On that occasion, while the rain drummed on the roofs, Jorge, with his innate empathy, sat next to her and told her a story taken from ancient legends of their land. That story, steeped in mystery and morality, had the power to make them forget the daily difficulties for a few moments, giving them both a moment of intimacy and reflection. In that moment, Maria Elena understood that her brother was not only a young man with a great vocation, but a storyteller capable of transmitting hopes and dreams, a precursor of a vision that went far beyond the confines of the family. Jorge's choice to embrace religious life, however, was not only a personal decision, but an act of faith that was experienced as a call to responsibility towards others. During the difficult years of the Argentine dictatorship, the young archbishop became a spokesperson for the values of solidarity and justice, offering comfort and refuge to those who desperately needed it. Maria Elena recounts how, even in the darkest moments, her brother delighted in seeking creative solutions to alleviate the pain of others, transforming his commitment into an act of unconditional love towards those who were persecuted and in difficulty. The difficulties that the family had to face, such as Alberto's premature death, did not just mark a painful turning point, but became the lifeblood of a lesson in resilience. For Maria Elena, every tear shed in those difficult days was transformed into a spark of strength, capable of illuminating the path to the future. Faith, passed down from generation to generation, took root in the hearts of the Bergoglios like a seed destined to sprout and flourish, even in the most arid lands. This conviction was visible in Jorge's eyes, always attentive to grasping the pain of others and transforming it into a message of hope, a light that, even from a distance, continued to guide his actions. Maria Elena's life, although marked by the constant presence of a brother destined for great deeds, was never a simple shadow. On the contrary, she cultivated her own identity, made of curiosity and a sincere passion for life stories. In moments of solitude, she reflected on how small daily choices could have an immense impact on people's destiny. She remembers with emotion the times when, during the rare occasions in which her brother returned to Buenos Aires, the family gathered to dine together, a simple banquet, but full of meaning, where each dish was prepared with the thought of remembering the roots and celebrating life in all its forms. The relationship between Maria Elena and Jorge was not limited to a mere brotherly bond, but represented a bridge between apparently distant worlds, that of everyday reality and that of global spirituality. Every phone call, every brief meeting, was an opportunity to renew that silent pact of affection and mutual respect. Maria Elena recounts how, during one of her visits to the Vatican, she found herself reflecting on how extraordinary her brother's journey was. Despite the weight of responsibilities and global visibility, Jorge had remained a simple man, always ready to make a kind gesture, to lend a hand, to offer a sincere smile. What makes this story even more fascinating is the way in which the Bergoglio family has managed to maintain, over the years, a subtle balance between the private and the public. Maria Elena explains how, despite being aware of the importance of her brother's choices, she has always preferred to preserve the intimacy of their conversations. There is magic in the little things, she says with a smile, in the words exchanged in a low voice, in the silences full of meaning, in the shared memories that, despite being simple, have the power to change the world. This bond, steeped in humility and respect, has meant that even the greatest challenges were faced with an inner strength that transcended all appearances. Maria Elena's narrative does not stop at memories of the past. Looking to the future, she imagines a world in which faith and love can continue to unite people, regardless of difficulties. She tells how her experiences, her conversations with Jorge and the small daily attentions have contributed to creating a family environment in which dialogue and understanding have always been at the center. Their story, far from being a mere chronicle of events, thus becomes a shining example of how family ties can be an inexhaustible source of inspiration and change. In a world where the news often focuses on scandals and controversies, Maria Elena's decision to break her silence has offered a breath of fresh air, an invitation to look beyond appearances to discover the beating heart of a man and a family. Her testimony is a hymn to simplicity, a reminder of the beauty of a life lived with authenticity and passion, where every sacrifice becomes an act of love, every choice a declaration of faith. The story of this family also reminds us how important it is to keep alive the memory of our roots, of the small daily gestures that often go unnoticed, but that actually constitute the very fabric of our existence. Maria Elena tells us how, despite the burdens and distances, the memory of a shared meal, a carefree laugh, or a piece of wise advice can be a beacon that guides us even in moments of darkness. In this sense, the bond with her brother is not just a family relationship, but a source of inspiration that extends far beyond the private context, embracing the entire community. And in this spirit of sharing, Maria Elena invites us to reflect on the value of choices and the small miracles of life. Every time Jorge chose to put aside his own safety to help those in difficulty, he sowed a seed of hope that sprouted in unexpected ways. His life, made of sacrifices and dedication, becomes a concrete example of how charity and humanity can transform the world. And while the spiritual leader continues to carry out his global mission, Maria Elena knows that true power lies in the warmth of an embrace, in that handshake that can communicate more than 1,000 words. Looking to the future, the story of the Bergoglios teaches us that true greatness lies not in public recognition or titles, but in the ability to remain true to oneself, to cultivate one's passions and to care for others with genuine empathy. In an age in which everything seems to be fast and superficial, the story of a family that knew how to find the time to listen, to share and to love offers us a model of life that is worth following. Maria Elena, with her courage and sincerity, shows us that even behind the imposing figure of a pope there is a human being who has learned, with his heart in his hand, to live every moment as a precious gift. And so, while the world watches and judges, we can ask ourselves, what does it really mean to be great? Is it power, fame, or the ability to make a difference in the lives of those around us? The story of the Bergoglios, with all its nuances and delicate harmonies, suggests that the answer lies in the simplicity of gestures, in the courage to be oneself, and in the unconditional love that binds people. An invitation to rediscover the value of our roots, to never forget that every small act of kindness has the power to change the world. In light of all this, the story of Maria Elena and her brother also becomes a profound reflection on the meaning of life, on the need to find a balance between personal ambition and the desire to contribute to the common good. A lesson that, although disguised as a family story, speaks to all of us. There is no pre-established path, but only the possibility of building it day by day, with courage, passion and, above all, with the heart. And you, as you listen to this story, what emotions do the memories of a united family, of sacrifices made in the name of love and faith, awaken in you? Perhaps, like Maria Elena, you too have learned that sometimes silence hides the deepest truths and that relationships, however complex they may seem, are our greatest strength.